So imagine this. You wake up on Mars tomorrow morning. No spaceship, no dome, no futuristic bubble helmet. Just you, a regular human, standing in the middle of the red desert. And here's the twist. Your goal is to survive one full Martian day without a spacesuit. How long would you last? And what exactly would happen to your body? Spoiler, it's not a pretty picture. First, let's be clear. Mars is not just Arizona, but red. It looks kind of cozy in the pictures, but it's one of the worst Airbnb destinations in the solar system. The air? Pretty much all carbon dioxide. The temperature? Colder than your freezer. And the air pressure? It's like standing on top of Mount Everest, multiplied by about 30. So, yeah, this isn't just a bad day. It's a nope day. But for the sake of science, and because you clicked this video, we're going to imagine exactly what would happen if you try to spend 24 hours on Mars without a spacesuit. The moment you step outside, the first thing you'd notice is nothing, because you wouldn't even have time to notice. Your saliva would start boiling almost instantly. Not because it's hot, but because the pressure is so low that liquids just evaporate. Yes, your spit literally turns to vapor in your mouth. Delicious. Meanwhile, the air is 95% carbon dioxide. So if you try to take a deep breath, congratulations, you just inhaled poison. Oxygen? Not happening. Within about 15 seconds, you'd black out from lack of oxygen, which, honestly, might be a blessing. Because being unconscious means you don't have to experience the next part. Your blood wouldn't boil, thanks to your skin holding it together, but it would start losing oxygen fast. You'd swell up like a slightly horrifying balloon. Not pop, though. Hollywood lies. You just look like the world's worst marshmallow. Also, the temperature. Mars averages around minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit. That's colder than Antarctica on a bad day. So while you're swelling up, your skin is also starting to freeze. You're officially a popsicle. Let's pretend, for science, that somehow you didn't die instantly. Let's say a friendly alien revived you after those first 60 seconds, so you're just lying there on Mars. Congratulations, you've now joined the radiation party. Mars doesn't have a protective magnetic field like Earth does. That means the sun blasts it with radiation all day long. If you somehow stayed alive for 24 hours, your DNA would get fried like an egg in a microwave. You'd rack up a radiation dose that makes Chernobyl look like a tanning salon. Okay, but let's bend the rules even harder. What if you could magically avoid dying from suffocation, freezing, and radiation? What if you somehow lived for the full Martian day? Here's what you'd experience. Your body would dehydrate like crazy because all your fluids are boiling off into the thin air. Imagine turning into beef jerky, but faster. You'd suffer extreme sunburn during the day because Mars' thin atmosphere doesn't block ultraviolet light. It'd be like the worst beach day of your life, except the beach is trying to kill you. And at night, temperatures would plummet even further. We're talking minus 100 to minus 150 Fahrenheit. At that point, you're not beef jerky, you're frozen beef jerky. By the end of 24 hours, you wouldn't look like a brave space explorer. You'd look like something left too long in the back of a freezer. Here's the shocking truth. The longest you could realistically survive on Mars without a suit is about 2 minutes. Maybe 3 if you're stubborn. After that, it's game over. So a full day? Absolutely impossible without some serious cheating from physics. But here's the wild part. Out of all the planets in the solar system, Mars is still the most survivable without a suit. Venus would melt you. Jupiter would crush you. Pluto would freeze you instantly. On Mars, at least, you'd get a few dramatic seconds before the curtain drops. So what's the takeaway? If you ever visit Mars, definitely bring a spacesuit. And maybe a heated one. And probably sunscreen. And also a radiation shield. Actually, just bring an entire spaceship. It's easier. If you enjoyed this little trip to Mars' worst Airbnb, make sure to hit the like button. Drop a comment with what planet you'd like to see us not survive on next. And don't forget to subscribe, because next time, we might just explore what happens if you try to swim in Saturn's rings. See you in the next What If.